All right, all right. Now we're ready for you. Now we're ready to talk. Hey, it's your boy Astro coming at you again tonight. Well, today, or I know where you at. It's probably around, who knows, maybe 1:12 p.m., 12:13 p.m. Whatever it is where you at right now, just know that it's daytime for you and it's nighttime for me. But I could not resist from breaking my path on, you know, going over 100 of the most influential black people on my list, and it so happened that somebody made the list, and this somebody who made the list is Andrew Tate. I know, the godfather of what they call toxic masculinity. Well, uh apparently he got locked up again. Apparently, people be like that. They be like, you know what? He got locked up. The la 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 booger Ray. And I just I just couldn't resist. I just couldn't resist rectifying his time of birth. I had to get his time of birth to know exactly. I had to gain a little more information about Andrew Tate. I already know him to be the guy that says, you know, that you know he just he's just a character, y'all. He's just a character. I like him though. I like him. I get what nobody say. There's a lot of men out here, a lot of young men who are not being heard. And they're not being heard because, and Andrew Day pointed out before, he said hypergamy. That most of these women want what majority of women want the top 1% of men. And all of them are striving and fighting for the same type of men. The same 1%. The six figures, 6 feet, more than 6 inches, six pack kind of guy. And he made that clear. And some of the men were like, you know what? You make him sense. Because I be inside women's DMs and they don't really check for me. And the moment that I put a Lamborghini that I rented out on a picture of me, I'm getting all kinds of friend requests and what have you. And he made sure, and he said this on his video that I watched recently. I don't really watch his videos, but when something like this happens, especially to a person of color, and make no mistake, his father is a black man. His mother is from London, England, and his father is a black man. He was born in Washington, D.C. Okay. No, because I got his chart. He was born December 1st, 1986. His rising sign is Aquarius, based upon me rectifying his time of birth, which is 11:55 a.m. He has Sun in Sagittarius and his Moon is in Sagittarius, conjunct each other, and also conjunct Saturn. But I'm going to reveal his chart to you guys in a few after we get to understand who is Andrew Tate. Now, before I say anything, I just want you to know that I have to play my, just got to do it. Just a few seconds. Got you. Now that we got that out of the way, just know that any views expressed by myself does not impinge on Orza or anything that Orza has to do with anything in this world. It's just my personal opinion, and anything that I say is alleged. Okay? And this is for entertainment purposes only. Just to entertain and just to educate, to dispel some stuff. All right. So you guys and you people who like to hit those copyright, I just want you to know. All right. I'm expressing and my fair use ability. Okay. Now, there are main reasons why I would say that he got locked up. First and foremost, when you piss off the elite, when you piss off the elite, you are going to get some backlash. Okay? All right? You are going to get some backlash. You are not going to go unnoticed. And when you start saying stuff that is changing and shifting the way people think, then you are a threat. If you are making money, because the man amassed a wealth of $350 million. And people try to figure out where he get his money from. He got his money because there are a lot of men who ain't getting no vaginas, unfortunately. And those men are looking for saviors, men who can guide them into getting more vaginas and getting more money and more power and more wealth. And there are not a lot of men on this earth who is advising these sexless men, these men who are committing suicide and, is going through what they're going through. There's not much man who's giving them advice. Andrew Tate says, you are a piece of shit. But since you're a piece of shit, I'm going to show you how to make money and how to get women. Well, he also says a lot of stuff. Okay. I want to say hello from Trinidad. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Saying hello to everybody that's here. Now, for those who don't know who Andrew Tate is, I'm going to just share a little bit about you. This is how the man looks. This right here is Andrew Tate. You may have seen some of his pictures, or you may have heard him talk. Well, Andrew Tate is a kickboxing champion, MMA also champion, and a fighter. Okay. Now, Andrew Tate at first came from a family. His father was in the military and retired, and his mother, worked jobs here and there. But him and his brother and his sister, as you can see, his father's a black man. His father was a chess champion for the Navy, right? He won about 6 times. And y'all know, when you're playing chess is not a real easy game to play. That means the man is smart. Okay? That means the man is smart. Now, Andrew Tate, is known for his stuff. So his father taught him how to play chess. As a matter of fact, Andrew Tate, with his brother, became very, very good at chess. That's right. To the point where he started to play chess with the world. And he started to see the pieces. You see, once you learn chess, you learn how to dominate the world. You literally look at that chess and you see how the world works. And he took that. Well, because of that, him and his brother is now locked up. First, they tried to lock him up in Romania, and they did. They locked him up, and they had to let him go. And now they're trying to charge him in England, London, in England. They actually, But I want to play some clips with you so y'all can know exactly who he is. All right? So I can know exactly who the man is. Katie says, sometimes they let his fame go to his head, like most of them. Not much of them remain humble. Well, when we look at his chart, you're going to realize that he's a total different beast, y'all. Based upon rectification of his time at birth, you're going to realize why he is who he is. But I'm going to play some clips and show you guys on the kind of personality he is and what really got him locked up. All right. Now, I'm going to play a little clip on from Joe Rogan. All right. When he's talking to him. Okay.
At least you're not Andrew Tate. Like they seize his assets. They seize his financial banking.
He was saying things about women that he was saying that like, what did he say that specifically got them triggered? Because it was basically saying misogyny. Look, he plays, part of it is like a character, and part of it he's a legit world champion kickboxer who's a hard man.
So I was telling these guys.
Who doesn't buy any pussy bullshit. And that's what's resonating with young people.
And he's also pro-Trump.
The worry is that he is going to, the kids are going to listen to him because he's big on TikTok. My 12-year-old and my 14-year-old asked me about Andrew Tate.
And what'd you say? What'd you say?
I said he's a legit world champion kickboxer. I go, I like him a lot. Why do you like him? And I was asking him. And they said he says a lot of funny stuff on Twitter and TikTok. It's the TikTok thing.
He's a brilliant man.
Yeah.
My thing is with the left who wants to cancel him and take him away. And they're like, we shouldn't look up to that. Okay, then who should we look up to? Joe Biden. Who do you want to fill in for that?
But also, it's not their job to just say, hey, this guy's a danger to young men. What are you talking about? Like a lot of times he was talking about how he says, become a high-value person, man or woman, and don't fuck with people who are low-quality people.
He fucked up with the misogynist stuff.
Yes.
Because if he didn't do that, if he just did the pro-male stuff,
he'd been all right.
And, pro-accountability and pro-discipline stuff, and, he has this post, he goes, the way I think in the morning, how I feel, has no bearing on what I do. He goes, I do everything I'm supposed to do. He goes, I get up. He goes, if I don't feel good, I still work out.
Of course.
He goes, I still work. I still go. I do everything I'm supposed to do because that's how you get ahead in this life. If you just concentrate entirely on your feelings, you're never going to fucking get anywhere.
Correct.
And that's true. And that's a good lesson for people to.
And that's Joe Rogan. Y'all know Joe Rogan, the very famous podcaster, one of the most famous that they have around now. And he was like, you know what? Yeah, he's a little misogynistic. But he just a straightforward kind of guy. Well, he didn't just get, I feel, this is my personal, they brought up charges. What did they bring up charges for? I'm going to show you right now what they brought up charges for. So they brought up charges. Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate were just arrested again on some made-up charges from 12 years ago. They at least want everybody locked up that goes against their lives. That's some harsh trend. We are aware of reports that Andrew Tate was detained last night by Romanian police under a European arrest warrant issued by the UK authorities in respect of allegations of criminal offenses committed against UK women between 2012 and 2015. Will be issuing a statement. Okay. Now, as you know, the statute of limitation, all that other stuff, we already know what they want. They want his head. But they want his head for a particular reason. They want his head because of stuff like this. And just listen.
Your favorite rapper shouted you out. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did see it.
Your favorite rapper. That rapper who you super like.
He's not my favorite rapper.
He is your favorite rapper. I think he is.
Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can make it fit on the screen though. So it's here, but in
Lil Nas X.
Lil Nas X shouted me out.
Your favorite rapper.
Yeah, when the Piers Morgan interview is currently going massive, and in the Piers Morgan interview, I
think there's a whole bunch of men in the world who understands my value, and if men grow up to be like me, you're gonna have a whole bunch of people with no criminal record, dedicated athletes, who protect and provide for the people close to them, are fantastic for the economy, and I'm certainly not the worst influence out here, Piers. You have Lil Nas twerking on the devil on music videos, which our children are digesting. You have drill artists singing about stabbing people to death in the middle of a knife crime epidemic. You have rabid psychopaths on whether the right or the left announcing violence on the other side. You have all these insanities in the world.
And I don't know why people are trying to pretend that I'm the most difficult and dangerous man in the world for some reason when people like him are propagating that to the youth of the day. They were saying that my content can be misunderstood by the youth. And I said, well, all content can be misunderstood by the youth, but there are people just as famous as me who are doing things which I truly believe are genuinely detrimental. And Little Nas, he did some tweet saying, bro, stop talking about me. I'm not going to let you smash. Little Nas, I don't want to have sex with you because I'm not homosexual. The point I'm trying to make is, my friend, and this is genuine. This is not an insult. This is a genuine conversation I want to have with you. You may think it's artistic and you may think it's cool, but doggy style sex with the devil is nothing other than degenerate. And I know when you're young, you may think that those kind of things are like, here we go. You think those kind of things are edgy and it's important that we break social stereotypes. It's actually disgusting. And there's no need to insult Christianity like that. And there's also no need to worship the devil like that. Nothing good can come from being an absolute degenerate and thinking that having anal sex, doggy style with the devil is somehow good for the world. This is not about gay. It's not about straight. I wouldn't have sex with a female devil.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have sex with a female. He's young. That's why.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have sex with a female devil. I have massive influence. I would never promote Satanism. I would never promote anything to do with the devil. I think that doing that is largely and absolutely irresponsible. And let me tell you what's actually cool. Nas X or Lil Nas X. What's cool is promoting people to be good to each other and to be nice to each other. And you can sit here and say, well, I'm intolerant because I'm not tolerant of you having sex with the devil. The devil in and of himself is an intolerant being. If you believe in tolerance, you must believe in God.
You see, that's too much. You understand what I'm saying? A little too much. Okay? That's you talking about Lil Nas X? Lil Nas X, who is like a productive citizen in the world, who's contributing to an amazing world that we have now, where little boys want to be Nas X. Yeah. You see, when you get loud, it's a problem, especially with the kind of chart that Andrew Tate has. Oof. You know, he doesn't give a shit. I'm gonna tell you that. I'm gonna just play one more clip where he was actually, speaking himself and speaking about, just stuff. You know what I mean? You're gonna see. All right. I'm gonna play this clip for you guys so that you can get it. So listen.
I'm out here in nature next to a waterfall in the beautiful Carpathian Mountains of Transylvania, and I'm thinking, why do people live in cities? I often like to ponder why about things. Let's be honest. There's no real reason to live in a city anymore. The crime rate's higher. You can't grow your own food. You're policed more strictly. It's expensive. The reason people are in the cities is because, well, there's higher paying jobs. Yeah, there's higher paying jobs, but there's also a higher cost of living, so all that money goes out the window. And I guess the only other reason to live in a city, which is the reason most guys are there, is girls. Pussy. Oh yeah, I love this city. I love the vibe of New York. I love the vibe of Miami. No, you don't. You love pussy. In fact, as a man, if you self-analyze, you'll realize you do a whole bunch of stuff for pussy. You don't care about that expensive t-shirt. That t-shirt being expensive has absolutely no value at all to you. You want it for the girls. You don't care about going to the clubs. You don't care about going to festivals. You don't care about any of these things. You want pussy, which is why you're going to end up living in a cubicle somewhere in a city as opposed to out here amongst beautiful nature purely to try and get your pee-pee wet. And people say, oh yeah, but if you live out in nature, something might happen. When's the last time you needed a doctor in under 20 minutes? Ever. And I would actually argue that I'm probably about 30 minutes from civilization here, which is the same as traffic in a city anyway. You're living in a city purely to get your dick wet, which is pretty sad when you imagine all the beautiful wonders that exist in the world and the gorgeous nature that exists and the kind of life you could have if you and 10 of your friends were to get together, buy a compound out here somewhere, bring one woman with you, or 4, because 4 wives will give you enough kids, and just sit out here and have a whole bunch of children and be happy. The city isn't giving you anything. And I'll wait for someone to argue this point with me and tell me what they gain from the city besides dork crap. Girls love attention, so they go to the city. Men love girls, so they go to the city. But all in all, cities suck. And the reason I'm doing this is not to shit on cities. I'm actually trying to make you understand that most of the time you're doing things without analyzing why you're doing them. And it is why that is the magic. It is the why that's going to truly teach you about yourself and allow you to accurately Aikido the future and become ultra capable in all realms of human endeavor. Why did you eat breakfast this morning? Were you hungry? Do you remember feeling hungry? Or was it just a habit? Why did you choose what you chose? Why are you watching this video right now? Are you trying to learn something? Do you like me? Do you hate me? Are you trying to feel better? Are you trying to find a wealth protocol? Are you trying to find actionables in which you can undertake to ensure monumental success? Why are you doing the things you do? When this video ends, whatever you choose to do, get up and go for a run, log into Pornhub, watch your favorite porno, like a nerd, jerk off. Why are you doing that? You have to sit and understand why. Because if you start to understand why, you'll understand that you don't really want to live in the city you live in. You don't want to drive the car you drive. Why are you driving it? Because it's the only one you can afford, not because it's the one you want. Once you understand the why, you understand you need a lot more money. Why are you with the girl you're with? Oh, I love her. Why do you love her? Think about it. Do you really love her? Or is it just convenience? Has she been around for a while? Is she the only one you can get?
You see, that's a little too much of questioning yourself. You understand what I'm saying? It's like this dude is having you to ask questions that you probably thought about, but didn't really pay attention, didn't really dig for the answers. And that causes a man to wake up that he's a sheep and he's been working his whole life on a job, going and making the next man rich. And here this man is, Andrew Tate, trying to tell people that they don't need to do that, that they don't need to be sheeps anymore, that they need to go out there and make money. Okay? This is what they're trying to say. All right, this is what he's trying to tell you. Listen, what is about? What are we really doing? What is your purpose? Like, what you got going on? Like, you know what I mean? And that period, point blank. And now the man is locked up in jail because he spoke about Nas X and he's telling people that they need to, like, look out for yourself. Let me tell you something, okay? This is my favorite post from him. Look, like, what do y'all want? Huh? Like, could you be any more stupider? That's the look he got on his face. Now, what we're gonna do? We're gonna look at his chart so you can take a look at his chart. All right. We're going to take a look at his chart so y'all can see exactly the kind of person Andrew Tate is. The kind of person Andrew Tate is. We're going to share and take a look at the entire screen so I can show y'all how it's looking. So let's look at his chart. And in Andrew Tate's chart, he was born December 1st, 1986 at 11:55 a.m. I put it at that time because that's the time that I got from it. And as the ascendant is in the 23rd degree, that 2 + 3 is a 5. That's the wild horse. That's the one that's just want to experience life. Does not want to be told what to do. He wants to be, he or she who has that placement wants to just do what they want to do. And when you look at his chart, he has his ascendant in Aquarius. So if y'all didn't know this, like I told you before, you know, the sun in the 11th house is like having the sun in Aquarius. This person will end up having a stepfather, and the mom divorced the dad when he was a certain age, and she moved to a different place into London where she was from. Normally, when the sun is inside the sign of Aquarius, and the sun and the moon, this is two mother and father who are from different walks of life. Okay, based upon the sun and the moon being there. If you have a moon in Sagittarius, there's a small chance that your mother may have some roots from a different country, a different culture, a different walk of life. That is not guaranteed, but the majority of the times it is. Now, as the Aquarius rising, he come off as being eccentric, different, unique. But most all Aquarius rising, what they have in common is they're very magnetic. They're very revolutionary. They don't stick to the grain. They march at the beat of their own drums. So when you have this sort of placement with Aquarius rising, these people can just be the reformers, the ones that come to bring a message. And as you can see, he has part of fortune, conjunct his ascendant, abundance, conjunct his ascendant, and Eros, conjunct his ascendant, in the sign of Aquarius. Now, Eros, this asteroid, is the asteroid that deals with passion, what turns you on, what makes you to feel passionate. And it's obvious that he's passionate about himself and how he is so different. That's why he speaks about himself in that way. As a matter of fact, because his part of fortune is sitting in the first house, conjunct his ascendant and his Aquarius and abundance, the more he displays himself as being a rebel, a renegade, different, eccentric, unique from the world, the more he attracts money. Which he did. If you look at his second house of money, like I told you before, he has a value of $350 million. Went from being a kickboxer, an MMA fighter, champion, to being a millionaire. And he has Jupiter, this planet right here, is in the second house. When Jupiter, the planet of abundance, expansion, is sitting in the second house, this is a recipe for receiving a lot of money. Okay, lots and lots of money. Now, when you have Mars sitting in the second house, that's another thing. It means that he could be an impulsive spender, and on things of fantasy. When I see people who have this placement, Jupiter in Pisces, and they have Mars in Pisces in the second house, that's a clear indication that this person spends on fantasy, on things that people only dream about, because Pisces also rules dreams. Okay? That's what it rules. It rules dreams. But because his Mars is in Pisces and Jupiter is in Pisces, he feels very emotional towards women. As a matter of fact, a girlfriend who he dated said that Andrew Tate would constantly, if he see a homeless woman and homeless children, will pull out money, no matter where he is, and give it to them. That's a clear indication of the Jupiter in Pisces being empathetic financially. So by him saying, people saying, he's misogynistic and he likes money for himself, based upon his chart, he is very empathetic towards money. And the fact that he has Mars, which represents masculine energy, sitting in the second house, he also feels sorry, empathetic towards men who do not have it, who don't have money. The reason why he wants to, create a system to help people to make money. How I know that? Because when you look at the second house and you look at the signs on the second house, you have to look also at the ruler of that second house. Of the sign Pisces. Pisces is ruled by the planet Neptune. And he has Neptune in the sign of Capricorn in the 12th house. And Capricorn is the planet that rules, the sign that rules business, government, structure, order, control, taking care of oneself. Most of you Capricorn sons would, attest to this. Now, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and his Saturn is in Sagittarius that rules philosophy, spirituality, religion, a way of life. And then it goes back, because Sagittarius ruled by Jupiter, back to the second house. So it loops back here. So that means that he makes his money through organization of people who he feel needs to be taken care of, or needs to have a structure and order, and giving them a philosophy to live by that will bring them and make them money. And that's how he made his money. Okay? That's how the man made his money. And that's only that part. That's only that part, okay, of his journey astrologically. We're going to get into the other part and why he ended up in jail so much. Now, remember we talked about how I told y'all like years ago, I looked at what's his name again? Oh gosh. Yeah, Nature Boy's chart, and I said, yeah, from 2014, 2015, that he couldn't escape jail, that it was something that was in his chart. Unfortunately, his chart doesn't show any different. Share that with you right now. And looking at his chart, he has the ruler of his, if you look at it, the ruler of his 12th house is sitting in his 11th house. Now it's conjunct moon, conjunct sun, conjunct MC. But remember when I told you also that Sagittarius, because Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn, is literally sitting in his 11th house. Now, 11th house has Sagittarius on it, and Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter has Pisces on it, and Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and this Neptune is sitting in the second house. When the ruler of the second house is sitting in the 12th house, there's a clear connection towards him making too much money, and that causing him to be in jail. Now, I also teach that Libra, the sign of Libra, is also ruled by Juno. And when the ruler of the 9th house is sitting in the 12th house of prisons, asylums, hospitals, secret enemies, when the ruler of the 9th house, which rules foreign places, foreign cultures, foreign countries, is sitting in the 12th house, there's a strong chance that this person could end up in prison from living in a different country. You know, those 12 house placements is very hard, y'all. It isn't the easiest placement to have to deal with. And with Neptune there, the ruler of his second house, and then Jupiter there, you have to stay sort of humble, because people can see your money or you making money as being, you know, like he's stealing something. But all he's doing is, you know, to some degree, making money from a fantasy. Okay? He's making money from a fantasy. He's creating a philosophy so men could live by. I truly appreciate the man for his message. Not everything I agree with what he says, but there are some things that he says that is trying to empower men. Also, remember when I told you guys that when you have Pluto sitting in the 10th house, Pluto, the planet of destruction, control, manipulation, also scandal, is sitting in the 10th house, there is bound to be, like I stated before, there's bound to be some problems. There's going to be a scandal. And one of the scandals that he was faced with was that because of the Venus conjunct Pluto, that he sexually assaulted or abused women. Now, Venus rules women. And because his Pluto is conjunct his Venus, this is a clear indication that there may be some allegations that may, come to try to destroy his reputation. Okay. Now, Mercury, as we know, because his Mercury is in Scorpio, the man just says what comes to his mind. He does. You can't really get upset. He's a whole Sagittarius sun and Sagittarius moon. That means he lives by a philosophy. There's a philosophy that he's here to teach. Now, he was born on a new moon, which means that he ain't here to walk at anybody's drum. He's setting his own drum set. Okay. And because his Saturn, which is the ruler of his 10th house, is sitting in the sign of Sagittarius, strong possibility that he, could end up in a prison, asylum, or hospital in a foreign place, because Sagittarius rules a foreign place, foreign culture, foreign countries, philosophy, spirituality, religion. And when you see that, his philosophy in life about men and women, all right, will get him into some secret enemies, literally, based upon this chart. Okay? Based upon this chart. Well, you can see he has Aquarius rise. He has Aquarius rising, and he has Sun in the 11th house. And the 11th house is naturally ruled by Aquarius, which means that this person is a trailblazer. He don't give a shit. Okay? Excuse my language. But he doesn't care about what people got to say. All right? On another thing is, because his Sun is sitting in the 11th house, the Sun is not comfortable there. It's not. Even though it gets its hopes and wishes, there is just something about the 11th house, because the 11th house is not ruled by Aquarius, and the Sun is debilitated in that house. Okay? It is debilitated in that house. His Venus, which is in Scorpio, is debilitated. But Venus, this thing right here, and Pluto being conjunct can always attract money. So him in his chart shows that he can make money, because Jupiter in the 2nd house, Venus and Pluto conjunct each other in the 10th house. This man was sort of made to be rich. Okay. Now we want to know if he's living out his purpose. Also, as you know, he likes, he, gosh. So Andrew Tate has no kids, none at all. And I truly believe, based upon this chart, that he did some abortions. I feel like he made sure them ladies never had a child for him, either that or a miscarriage. The reason why I feel that way is because the 5th house, which rules children, has dark moon Lilith in the 5th house. Now, dark moon Lilith in the 5th house, dark moon Lilith, if you know the mythology behind dark moon Lilith, she didn't want no kids. She didn't want no children. She didn't want to be Adam's wife. She didn't want to be subject to getting her belly. She wanted to preserve her beauty and for herself. And with dark moon Lilith and being conjunct Chiron sitting in the 5th house, there's a strong possibility of that. It's even more stronger because Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini, which is this planet here, is in Scorpio, that rules sex, death, and regeneration. I truly feel that Andrew Tate probably didn't want any children, because it will sort of ruin his reputation, even though he speaks to men for having children. I don't think that he wanted it right now. He feels if it's going to deal with his reputation. Also, with his nemesis right here in the 5th house, he also felt as if, he couldn't children right now would be a hindrance for him, and that's why he never really had no kids, other than the fact that because the rule of his fifth house is sitting in Scorpio, death was definitely in. I would suggest allegedly that he may have, made sure his partners, his romantic partners, uh, extinguished the children. Now, because his north node is in Aries in the third house, and his Mars, which is the ruler of Aries, is in the second, I feel as if he fulfilled his purpose. Now, when North Node in Aries is in the third house, this means that this person is here to speak commandingly, almost aggressively. The sign of Aries rules Mars, is ruled by Mars, and Mars rules masculine energy. So this is why he came off as being what y'all would consider toxic masculinity. But what he really came here to do is to help rescue or save men and help them financially. Okay? You hear me? He has fulfilled his purpose. And he is fulfilling his purpose. And I feel as if that fulfilling my purpose is also connected to prison, because or hospitals or asylums, because Pisces, which is Mars is sitting in, is in Pisces. Okay? And his Neptune, which is the rule of that, is sitting in the 12th house. So I feel as if it doesn't stop. Y'all people got me. I'm going to say help the simps. Oh my God. Yeah. That's you call them, help the Sims. Oh my God. Y'all are too much. Now, as it pertains to, our friend Andrew Tate, based upon his chart, is he guilty for assaulting women? It is not far from his chart, but Venus conjunct Pluto, there is definitely an obsession with controlling the female energy. So how is he saving a group that has been empowered for centuries? Woo! Says the group of people who are most locked up, most charged in jail, who I don't understand that most empowered comment. I feel as if both men and women have been subjugated to having their power taken away by the elite. So, and I don't see that comment as being logical. And I'm not saying that in an insulting way. I'm just letting you know that we all have had our power taken away, whether it been financially, philosophically, spiritually. There is no gender that wasn't subject to other beings that pose as being human beings just to deteriorate our experiences, our connectedness, our oneness as human beings. Okay? That's just my understanding. I know, those days of what they say, patriarchy is totally done. It's gone. We're not underneath male rule. We are underneath alien species rule, sugar. You got to understand that this is a spiritual war. This ain't have to do with just male and female. Now, to be honest with you, if we're looking at, and just from a perspective, if we're looking at the male species, all right, and I know we had the Me Too movement which needed to happen so that the male energy could know what they can do with a woman and have a boundary of what to do, or they will get in problems, which needed to be in rein. And I totally agree. I just feel as if there was pushed to an agenda of locking men up and women, using some of them, not all, using some power, because not every man is, how should I put it, is an upstanding citizen, and certainly not all women. Same way, okay? Just used by powers to help to destroy both men and women. So when we talk about, empowered group of people for centuries, whew, that's a tough topic. Nowadays, there's no fingers to point. None at all. Society have women jacked up, thinking that, once we, it just, society have men jacked up, women jacked up. I just look at society, and I just made a post about how dating apps are so destroyed. Like, men go on dating apps because they're sexless. They are sexless. They don't get much sex, and you'll think that most men do, but most men don't. More women have sex than more men, and that's because most women are having sex with the same set of guys and leaving the rated 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 6, 7s to turn to Pornhub and OnlyFans. This is why OnlyFans makes so much money. And that is from hypergamy. And hypergamy is also a societal blemish, I would like to say, because social media have us thinking that every man needs to be a rock star and have bling bling and drive a Lamborghini and have $300,000 sitting in an account and fly women out, when in turn, the men that are working and having regular jobs that are building our society, like mechanics and garbage collectors and jobs that most women won't really do themselves, are being left in the cold. And this is why most people who are doing these OnlyFans are becoming millionaires. It's because of hypergamy. Because most women don't want a man that ain't got it. And if you really think about it, that's because of television. And that's because of propaganda. It is not the female's fault. It's society's fault. It's what's put before us in our videos, in our music videos, in our movies. All right? Everywhere. You see what I'm saying? So pointing fingers doesn't make on one another doesn't make any sense to me. Okay? All right, so Simone Devereaux says, I don't think that at all. I have a regular smegular guy and always have. That's great. That's very excellent. You understand what I'm saying? Well, that's great that your friends don't think like that at all. But you are of the mature age. You're not going on any dating site. You're not at all. I want to just share with you the statistics of men and women. We're going to take a look at it and see how it's looking. It's not really looking too well for when it comes to men and women and how they are rated, how they rate each other. But that's besides the point. I'm just going to share that, and we're going to get back onto Andrew Tate's chart. Okay? Definitely. Just want to share with you how it's looking and why Andrew Tate has risen to prominence. And when you look at it, and I posted this on my story, how men rate women. And from least attractive, men say about just 6%. A little more attractive, 16%, 18%, 20% they find to be, above average, 19%, then 15%, and then, 6% they find to be most attractive. When it comes to how women rate men on dating website, especially on okcupid.com, which have millions of people, women rate men least attractive 27%. Next to least attractive, 31%. Next to that, 23%. Between those three, which is not even close to that, is not even half. It's not half of the amount of men. It is 81% men that women find unattractive. 81%. That means that only 19%, as you can see, 12% make it halfway, 5% just a little attractive, and most attractive, 0. That is 0. That's a ZERO. All right? That ain't me. And that is where Andrew Tate comes into play. He says, get your money up, get rich. I'm going to show you multiple streams of income to make so that you don't be at the bottom of the barrel. Go in the gym, work out, be a productive citizen of society. Don't be a simp. These are the things that he says. So, and I'm just telling you based upon what he says. And that's the reason why we're on his chart right now. And his chart literally shows that. It shows that he feels a sense of, a sadness towards what's going on with men and women. Let me pull this up so we can look at the whole chart. And I want you to, we're going to click on his Mars. And we're going to read one of his placements. And he has Mars in the second house. Impulse buying is not unknown to you. A certain amount of your energy and drive is directed at making or spending money, as you know. On occasion, you may be prepared to take financial or business risks, which he does. You can get a rush from wheeling and dealing, which he does. Less positively, there can be conflicts over money or possessions, which has happened to him. He has Mars square Sun. You are a dynamic personality, and a readiness for action is your signature, which is correct. However, you can also gain a reputation of impatience. That is correct. Reactive behavior and aggression, which he took into the ring. You thrive on adventure and are prepared to take risks that others wouldn't contemplate. That's why he makes the videos and talks about what he says. You need to guard against accident proneness. Advancements you make in life are based on your personal effort and determination, which he talks about all the time. You have a quick reflex and are able to respond to situations immediately. You may enjoy sports. Certainly, you take a pleasure in setting challenges for yourself and competing with others. As you know, he was a championship kickboxer. And all these placements is just the Mars placement, as you see. The commitment to activities that are passionate about is clear to all. You invest huge amounts of emotional energy and vigor into your objectives. You have the motivational power to work long hours to see any task through to a successful conclusion. All right. And like I said, there's a lot of this stuff that talks about him completely. A guarded personality, active defiance, confronting issues as they arise, fighting against negative and depressive influences, the state of being directly at odds with others in the environment, the desire to overcome shyness and inhibition, difficulty taking actions and asserting self, suppressed frustration and anger, tension within partnership, and decisive separation. And that's only just one or two of his aspects. That's his midpoint. Okay. All right. I get what you're saying. Let's see. All right. Awesome. What you said, JG Michelle say, right. Love a hardworking man. Yes. All right. Say a lot of people want Diddy and Nature Boys. Well, uh, a lot of women love bad boys. A lot of younger women love bad boys. They want the bad boys because, and not saying that's a terrible thing, they just know that they can be protected. And one of the main things that a woman desires is being provided for, being protected, being guided and led. So if there are not much men out there leading and providing and protecting, the only thing that a woman could turn to is a gangster, a bad boy. Because they sure as hell gonna feel protected that this man carries a gun and he a drug dealer. I ain't got to worry about that. I know I ain't gonna get money. I know somebody trying to shoot me or try to hurt me. This man is coming for them. So, these stuff is what they feel. It isn't like they mean to do it. It's a natural instinct for a woman to want to be provided for, to want to be protected, and to want to be led. It isn't their fault if the only men that are doing that in their society are gangsters or bad boys. We just need to make better men who are hardworking, who are focused, and who are driven. And that is what Andrew Tate was trying to implement. All right, guys. So, like I said, the man is locked up again, but I don't know if he's gonna get out. He won't stay in there long, not too long. That is. Neptune is sitting in his own home, even though it's in Capricorn and feel frustrated. He will possibly get out or win his case. Why do I say that? It's because the 7th house rules court cases. Okay. But let me look at his progress chart. Let's look at his progress chart real quick and see how it's looking. All right. And let's look at his progress chart. Let me share the screen. Last but not least, looking at his progress chart. His progress chart, he has Jupiter in the 12th house in Pisces. He has Mars there as well. He has Eros there. And Jupiter brings luck wherever it goes. Okay. Now, the 7th house rules court cases, especially, and his south node is in Libra. Libra is ruled by Juno, based upon my teachings. And he has his Mercury conjunct his Juno and conjunct his MC and conjunct the Sun, which means that there, what I get from what I'm seeing is that the government is literally like on his case. It's going to be dragged out for a bit. Okay. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, as Saturn is in the 9th house, which in Sagittarius, which represents a foreign country, foreign culture. And, they're going to try his best to put him in jail, especially the fact that Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius and Jupiter is sitting in the 12th house. But it's going to be a loop. I feel as if he won't be in there too long. Even if they do sentence him, it won't be for very long. All right, y'all. I would like to say thank you guys for being here. As you know, it's been an hour. And We got other chores to do during the week. I'm glad that you guys are here. I want to just say that you guys are my biggest. I am your biggest fans. Y'all are not my biggest. I am you guys' biggest fans, and I just want to give you some appreciation. You know you deserve every single clap that was orchestrated in that video. And let's just send, some love to the dude, to Andrew Tate, whatever you're going through. I never met you in this life. I know that everybody has darkness and light, and people are highlighting your darkness as opposed to focusing on your light. And I know what it feels to have that done to you, for people to look at your darkness and focus just on that, when you can't really see in the darkness. You can only see in the light. And I see the light in you. I also see the darkness. But I, just like everybody else, but not like everybody else, like a soul that is responsible and is spiritually intelligent, know that you came here and you did what you came here to do. It's unfortunate that others aren't doing the same. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night, rest of your day. Truly appreciate you guys. Y'all be safe.